Hello, this is Joy News Desk with me, Mamisi Nyamiche Thompson. Coming up, Inspector General of Police leads team to Savannah Region as the Regional Security Council readies for a high-level meeting with feuding factions later today to restore calm at Gbenyiri. Meanwhile, relief is to be provided to displaced residents following the bloody clashes there.
That we get in this situation, but those who are in the hospital and are being treated.
We'll hear from the regional minister and get live updates. Also this morning, pressure mounts on government to complete construction of Palugu Dam as farmers scramble to salvage their crops following the premature spillage of the Bagre Dam.
If the government could come to our aid to build as the Palugu Metropurpose Dam, as we're saying, I think it will help a lot.
We'll hear from NADMO on how to manage the situation. Also, OT region confirms more than 10,000 cases of typhoid fever in the first half of 2025, raising urgent public health concerns. These and more coming up, plus a business updates on our desk. Stay for details. This morning, Inspector General of Police Christian Tete Yohonu is leading a team to the Savannah region today as the Regional Security Council readies for a high-level meeting with feuding factions in Damongo to restore calm following deadly clashes in Gbenyiri in the Sola Tuna Kalba district. 10 persons are dead, several others injured, families displaced with scores of residents now seeking refuge at the local police station. RESEC has directed that relief items be sent to them, while the Ghana Red Cross provides tents to shelter victims. Salisu Isifu B. Awurbi is Savannah Regional Minister.
Yes, it's regrettable that we get in this situation, but those who are in the hospital and are being treated, we are monitoring that and taking the necessary records of same. Those who might have lost their lives, through this unfortunate incident, we are only praying that we are able to get some way to overcome that situation. But our main focus is to protect the lives currently available and not to let people degenerate into another way of attacking others.
I know.
For now,
both sides, those who have died, the number, the media speculating. At the RESEC, you have a domino over that.
Yesterday, the number that we had were 5. And indeed, just this morning to midday, different reports have also come, spreading into other districts. And we are yet to confirm the total number, but the speculative number is around 9 to 10 that we are getting to add up to 5 more is what is speculated to have lost their lives. I think 3 have been confirmed. The remaining 2 are yet to be confirmed to add up to the number of yesterday of 5, making the number 9 or 10. It's quite an unfortunate situation that we have now on hand. But we put in the needed measures to actually stop this carnage, to get whatever resource that they can lay hands on in an emergency to attend to this emergency. We've also worked around, we are getting a safe place with adequate security to give protection to those who, for some fear, whether real or perceived, have run to the police station to be properly housed and taken care of. We've also contacted our partners, Red Cross, to be able to come in to provide temporary shelter to the people who are currently internally displaced. I'm aware, and from the information that we've also had, there are some people who have also crossed to the Ivorian section. We are also trying to reach out to see how we can get them come back. In fact, it's the stability of the area which is most important. And as we've started speaking to the various elders, the chiefs, the group leaders, the youth leaders, we are getting some level of understanding. And they're also talking to the varied group of people who listen to them, for them to lay down their. We are one and the same people. We've intermarried, we live in the same communities, and we've related for so long a time. Indeed, it's just some people's misunderstanding that has created this element of suspicion and spiraling effect of communal attacks. This is quite unfortunate.
Well, let's go to the Savannah region now and get live updates from our correspondent, Isaac Nonya. Isaac, has the IGP and his men reached the region yet?
Yes, the IGP and his men just arrived. IGP together with the army commander. I will speak that in a meeting with the RESEC in Damago, trying to get briefing from their findings when they visited the area yesterday. From there, he will come to have a meeting with the overlord of Yagbon before moving to the grounds to see things for himself.
Well, let's get a sense of the situation currently where you are. Are security patrols visible in Gbenyiri and Damango? And do residents feel reassured by their presence, if there are any?
The security in Gbenyiri is within the sectors around the chief palaces, Calabar and Gbenyiri. But due to the nature of the environment, this is a rural area with a lot of farms around, you will not see real houses where you can drive around and to see what you want to see. And because of that, they are stationed just at the chief palace. But at Calabar, they will be able, because there are some routes within the township that you can easily pass and drive around houses to see. And this is the case that they are stationed at the chief palace to ensure that the chief and his family are safe. In Sola and Tona, there are visible patrols of the security on the main streets that we can think about, and then some roadblocks still intact. But beyond this peripherance, they don't go beyond there, and the farming communities where these things, more attacks are continued to unleash to people, is where they are yet to reach.
All right. We've also heard about relief efforts from the regional minister. Have these relief items reached the families or residents who are seeking shelter at the police station? What can you say about that?
Our checks this morning did not confirm any relief item to the victims. We are told this morning, the clouds are very thick, and if rain falls, the people at the police station will be in trouble, because about more than 200 people are surrounding the police station in the open. And if it's rain, the police station is just like a one-room structure. Nobody can, even 20 people cannot be contained inside there. So, and the minister also indicated that Ghana Red Cross Society is supposed to dispatch some tents to them today. I'm here with the acting regional director of Ghana Red Cross Society for Savannah Region, Juan Mumuni Mohammed Mahama, who tells me that his office is preparing to deploy those things to the ground. But we will need to hear from him himself to give indications and assurances that he wants to deploy and to go and mount those temporary accommodation for the displaced women and children at Sola, and also to find out whether he will extend this gesture to those at the Calabar police station.
Yes, Isaac, I'd also like to have direct access to him, if you can hear me.
Yes, he's here with me.
Right. So I'd like to know from him what exactly are the needs of the resident currently. What do they need? What do they need most right now?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Welcome to our Joy News Desk.
In reality, we have already prepared the ground, because Savannah region is a newly created region. We just liaised with the northern region, then so they have already deployed some of the shelter kits for the sheltered kids. So we are on the ground now. We are trying to move to the grounds to prepare the place for the erecting the tents.
So have you made an assessment of what aside the shelter or the tents you're giving to them, what else do these people need to make life comfortable for them?
Yeah, actually, the way they have moved from their various homes to that place, they will need food, they will need water, they will need first aid over there. So this is what we actually observed. And currently, we are working towards that because I've already sent information to the national level so that for them to assist us quickly to support those people over there.
And at the national level, the items that you're requesting for, do they have everything, or you will need more support to be able to reach out to everyone?
Actually, we are calling other organizations to come in faster to support because I don't think all those things we are mentioning, we can get everything for those victims. Because really, we are working hand in hand with other donors. So we are still going to also rely on the donors to see how best they can support us.
All right. But aside food and shelter, is the Red Cross preparing psychological support for the traumatized residents that you've come across?
Yes, really. That is why we say when we are putting up the shelters, we are bringing the first aiders around so that they will be giving the counseling and also supporting the victims.
All right. How about you and your team? Do you yourself feel safe where you are rendering the services?
Yeah, because now we realize that they have deployed so many force men around there. So we realize that now the situation will be better for us to be able to rescue the people.
With the items you're expecting, what period is it supposed to serve?
The period, is it the period that we are going to support the people? Or
yes, indeed.
Because when we send the sheltered kids and then the people are living inside, until when the people are getting to evacuate to their destinations before we move to the scene. Because when we get to the scene, we are going to hold the people until they are feel safe before.
Right.
Then we can also move from that scene.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on News Desk. And that's the District Director of the Ghana Red Cross Society. And Isaac is still with us. Isaac, so any expectations from that regional security meeting that they are having this morning? Has it even started?
Yeah, it has started. The expectation is that the IGP and then the the army commander, are supposed to make a strong case and then a roadmap leading to the security situation in the Solatuna Kalba district and that of Bole. Because these are two adjoining districts that are intertwined with this kind of conflicts. And the IGP will not miss. Let me add that I tried to find out from the minister yesterday whether the directives given was to cover both those displaced people at Calabar and Solar, especially the tents. That answer didn't come. But I will speak those at the Calabar, also keeping at Calabar police station, are more than 100, right? Despite the majority being at Solar. What about those at Calabar who are equally lying in the open? Right, we encountered a young female, whom they alleged that her breast is massively low, and there was nothing you could do than to move to the roadside, pleading with people to help her to keep herself safe, but that couldn't happen. This morning, I tried to reach out to the family of that woman to find out if she was able to get parts to able to change and then keep herself safe. That was not possible. And you can imagine this situation, and those are Calabar. If these young women who are among them are in this condition, how would they keep things going? And then their kids, for 2 nights and 2 days, no official food or delivery item have been sent to these people. They are just there managing on their own.
Well, thank you so much, Isaac, for those updates. We'll definitely come back to you when we have, updates on that meeting as well as the relief items being sent to the residents there. And those are the latest from the Savannah region. Well, moving on, pressure is mounting on government to fast-track the stalled Palugu multi-purpose dam project after Sonabel managers of Burkina Faso's Bagre Dam began an early spillage on Monday. Rising water levels forced the release ahead of the planned August 27 date, leaving farmers in northern Ghana scrambling to protect their crops. 6 years after salt cutting in 2019, the Palugu project remains incomplete, deepening their frustrations, while the farmers want government to find a permanent solution.
Farmers along the White Volta Basin at Palugu in the Upper East region are rushing to harvest their maize prematurely in a bid to avert serious losses following the spillage of the Bagre Dam in Burkina Faso, which began today. The water level in the Volta Lake is already overflowing into nearby farms, which could be completely submerged in a matter of days. Some of the farmers have been speaking to Joy News correspondent Albert Sorry, who met them harvesting their premature produce this morning.
3 days back, I was in the house when TV3 called on me, and I met them. And actually, we went around advising people to harvest because the water, the Bagre Dam will be opening around 27.
You went around with NADMO?
No, we went around alone first, but NADMO also came yesterday to go around and see how. But earlier on, I've already gone around advising people to harvest their maize and whatever they have along the river banks.
The information reaching us is at 27th, but as we stand, the water is already flooding our farm, and we have to forcefully harvest our corn unripe, as you can see some of them. So we are just pleading on the government so that if they can come to the aid of all the farmers.
The farmers are also calling on government to revisit the Palugu multi-purpose dam project, which was initiated but abandoned by the last NPP government. They believe the project is the solution to the perennial flooding.
And in fact, every year round, the Bagre Dam gives us a lot of problems. Because if the government could come to our aid to build as the Palugu multi-purpose dam, as they were saying, I think it will help a lot.
Moses Adongo is assemblyman for Palugu.
The government should, as a matter of urgency, always inform the Burkinabe to split the water from June, July, then August, then they will have their level. But if they wait until it is August, that is the time we have the maize and the groundnut and the other crops getting ripe. But sometimes they are not yet ready unless September, middle of September and end of September. Therefore, when it comes, it has given force and pressure to everybody to harvest unripe crops, especially the maize.
Well, joining us is Richard Amoyate, Director of Inspectorate at NADMO, on our desk this morning. We are grateful for your time, Mr. Yate. Kindly unmute for us, please.
Yeah, good morning to you, and then good morning to your viewers, and then another good morning to my Director General and all the hardworking staff of NADMO and other agencies working in Northern Ghana to ensure that this expected situation is mitigated.
Right.
So we are on that point.
Right. So let's get right to it. This situation of the spillage from Bagre Dam, we anticipate will affect about 4 regions, talking about the Upper East, Northeast, Northern, and also the Savannah regions. I mean, what's your own assessment of the situation, and how prepared are you to ensure that there's no disaster?
Yeah, for over a month, since we started communicating with Sonabel, I mean, there's a regular communication between NADMO, Sonabel, and the Water Resources Commission. And we were fully aware that the dam levels in the Bagre was rising, and then it would get to a point that they may have to spill. So we started working in the communities in the 4 regions that are usually affected by the floods. The farmers were sensitized on early harvest and then also sensitized to move uphill. So safe havens have been identified. Evacuation routes have all been identified in the 4 regions for people to move when need be. But we are still working with Water Resource Commission to monitor the inflows. And as I speak now, there is no confirmation of the spill or the discharges from the Bagre Dam hitting Ghana. As I speak to now, it is expected to get to Ghana within 24 hours. And then looking at after 10:30, when the Bagre discharges will get into Ghana. Yesterday, there was rainfall in those areas, so that has brought the water level a bit higher than anticipated. So the Bagre Dam has not impacted Ghana yet, but there has been rainfall in northern Ghana, which has taken the water levels a bit above the usual. But like I said, NADMO is on the ground. NADMO with other collaborating agencies, police, fire, armed forces, ambulance, we are all on the ground and ready to deal with any eventuality that will arise out of that.
Well, we get a sense that some of the farmers in those areas are doing early harvesting, which you've already said, but there are also some who are unwilling to move or take precaution. How are you handling such situation?
Yeah, we are still talking to them, engaging them in all the 4 regions. And even yesterday, another team from the headquarters has been deployed to go and support. So we are working with them to complete the harvesting and then also need be move up to higher grounds so that the flow will pass without any emergencies. But then we are ready to respond to any situation that will arise out of the spill.
Right. Just before I let you off, how many residents are you anticipating, especially in these 4 regions that you're talking about, that you are making available shelters and other, relief items ready in case of any, uncertainty?
Yeah, from our assessments so far, we are prepared to immediately take care of up to about 5,000 people if they are affected by the situation in providing support for them.
What kind of support is this, please?
It will depend on the needs assessment when they are affected. We will assess their needs and then we will deliver support to them.
Oh, and this assessment is ongoing?
In fact, from historical records, we know the numbers that are usually impacted upon. So we prepare based on these available facts.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Amoyate. He is with NADMO, head of the Inspectorate Directorate of NADMO, speaking to us. You're still watching Joy News Desk. The OT region has recorded more than 10,000 typhoid cases in just 6 months of 2025, prompting the Regional Coordinating Council to set up a sanitation task force. The move, backed by environmental health officers, seek to curb the spread of the disease through improved waste management, clean water initiatives, and strict enforcement of sanitation bylaws. Regional Environmental Health Officer Cynthia Sechere says poor sanitation and unsafe water remain the key drivers of the outbreak.
Mortality cases, and OT is not exceptional. We have a data from OT Regional Health Directorate that indicated that a total number of 10,233 from first quarter to second quarter is confirmed cases of typhoid fever. And if you look at the first quarter alone, we are talking about 4,417 and 5,816 confirmed cases from the hospital. This is a public health concern. If you look at the percentage between the first and the second quarter, we were expecting that at least there should be reduction, but there was increase of 31.something% of typhoid cases at the various hospitals. It's affecting people in OT region. And for that matter, these data that we have, there are contributing factors to these diseases. We can look at those that even don't go to the hospitals. What happens?
Deputy Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Dr. Kwabena Bempah-Tando, has described the double-track system as a life-saving policy that prevented thousands of students from being denied access to secondary education. He's been responding to recent comments by Education Minister Haruna Iddrisu, who argued that the system compromised quality. Dr. KB Tando joins me in studio for more on this. Dr. Tando, you're welcome.
Thank you.
To our desk, and it's great to see you in person.
It's good to see you.
We've had conversations on the phone.
Absolutely.
And sometime. But how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, and I hope you're also doing well.
Now, what's really your problem if the current education minister realizes that a policy that was introduced in the SWAL administration has issues? Why is that an issue for you?
I'm a teacher by training. And so questions are very important.
Right.
And you begin your question by saying, what's my problem? I should be asking, what is everybody's problem about a double track? I must tell you, before we begin the conversation, we cannot sacrifice the future of Ghanaian children on the altar of political expediency. It is not possible, and we should not do that. Now, let me tell you why anybody who tells you that the double track has issues, especially around performance, has not interrogated the data. I am a big fan of data. I'm a researcher, and I believe in data and evidence. So in order to be able to answer this very, very effectively, I need to give you a quick understanding of where we come from and where we've gotten to. Now, in 2017, after Ghanaians gave His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the former president, the mandate, he implemented free senior high school. Now, in implementing free senior high school, it became very clear that people became excited because of the success of the program. And so between 2017 BECE registrations and 2018 BECE registrations, we saw an 11.5% jump in the registrations. Annually, for the past 10 years prior to 2017-2018, we only saw about a 1.5% to 2% jump. So we saw more than a five-fold, six-fold percentage jump in the number of registrations in terms of the annual increments. And so we knew right from that data after BEC registrations that we were going to have so many students who were going to sit for the exam. And then if you do an analysis of the pass rates, then you're going to have a lot more students knocking at the doors of post-junior high school education, be it senior high school or senior high technical schools. Now, at the time in 2018, Ghana only had 684 senior high schools and senior high technical schools. We knew at the time that some 272,000 seniors from that year were going to graduate. But we knew that the number of students who were going to pass the BECE and move on to senior high school, there was going to be an excess of 181,992. And I want to give you to the exact figure. So when we did that, the question became, whose child should stay home? Is it your child or is it my child? Or is it the person who doesn't have money to pay for school that we should let their child stay home? His Excellency, the President at the time, had made a decision that every child will go to school. Now, we knew also at the time that because of the spaces gap and the infrastructure gaps that existed at the time, we needed to at least invest about 1.2 to 1.3 billion Ghana cedis at the time to build. Now, this registration jump came in June of 2018. Schools begin in September of 2018. Even the well-intentioned with all of the resources cannot finish the infrastructure because the analysis showed that we needed some 1,132 new infrastructure across schools in this country. So you could not. So what were we to do? We were to look at innovation. Listen, education is about thinking. It's about solving problems. Education is not about cut-off points. So the decision was made to introduce double track. What is double track? A lot of people don't even know what double track is. Double track is mainly the using of existing infrastructure, using it effectively to allow more students to go to school. Now, the idea of double track was, at the time we introduced it, was that, let's say you have a school like, let me use my hometown school. I have mine senior high school in Goso.
Okay.
Let's say I have mine senior high school has a capacity of 3,000, 1,000 in Form 1, 1,000 in Form 2, and 1,000 in Form 3. What we were proposing for 400 of the 684 schools was to increase the Form 1 intake to 1,500 so that we can absorb all of those children. But in order to do that, if you send all of them to Ahafumai Senior High School, they won't fit.
Yes.
So what we did was to split the Form 1s into two. Now, in order to do that, you need to understand planning. In a 12-month cycle, if you change the academic terms to semester, a semester is about 4 months, which means you could technically run 3 semesters per year instead of 2 semesters as we usually know it. So we broke the academic calendar in such a way that it allowed space for 2 cohorts of Form 1 students to attend schools almost interchangeably with the existing Form 2s and Form 3s, allowing all those students to have access. Now, for the layman, let me help you to understand this. You get on a trotro from Medina, and you are going to Accra Tema Station. When the trotro fills up at Medina, let's say it's a 15-passenger trotro. When the trotro fills up for Medina, the trotro moves to Spanner or Tetekwashi roundabout. 5 passengers get off because that is the length of their journey. Does the trotro then go empty, or does it load students from Spanner and then maybe drop them at airport first? Maybe drop those 5 people at airport first, 3 more people get on, they'll load people, and then maybe drop some at Sankara and then keep moving until they get to Tema Station. That 15-passenger trotro, by the end of its journey, may have moved about 28 or 30 people to their destination.
But you also know that with that same scenario, moving from one place to the other, stopping is also going to, cut back, or not cut back, espouse more time in doing that.
No.
So let me ask you this question.
So wait. I don't want you to put that in the minds of people. We are here to educate people.
We're also trying to understand.
It will not take more time because every passenger has their purposed trip.
Rightly so.
Right?
Let me make this scenario using this same trotro example. So I go to the trotro station. I'm going to Medina. There's a straight car from the trotro station to Medina, no stops, okay? Then there's another Medina car that goes by the roadside. You just take it because it doesn't fill up at the station. It has to fill up when people get on and get off, okay? So when I sit in that trotro at the station, I go straight to Medina because all the people on that bus are going to Medina.
But that's because
Let me finish.
Wait, because
I'll let you
ahead.
talk.
Go ahead.
Are all going to Medina, and so the time I'm spending to go to Medina, if it is 10 minutes, I'm spending 10 minutes. But if I stand by the roadside, and because the driver has to fill up the vehicle, we'll stop at maybe Spanner, pick up some people there, stop at maybe the University of Ghana, pick up. Definitely, I will spend more than 10 minutes to get to Medina.
Exactly my point. What you are saying is that then you don't need to get on the trotro. You need to charter a taxi and get to your Medina.
No, but there are both trotro scenarios that I'm putting across.
Hold on. What I'm trying to say is that the analysis is that this is a public transportation system that we are going on. So let's get back to the double track. Right. But basically, I was just trying to get you to understand that you can use that existing infrastructure to accommodate more people. Right? It's not about the time, but it's about using that existing infrastructure to accommodate more people. And that's what double track did.
Okay.
Now, beyond accommodating or giving access to more students, I think that anybody who also makes the decision, not that I think, anybody who makes that assertion that double track impacted negatively on academics has not interrogated the data.
Why?
Because if you take the last 10 years, very, very beautiful. The last 10 years is 2015 to 2024. the way to measure academic performance, at least within our dispensation in Ghana, in senior high schools, is the WASSCE examination.
Right.
Now, when students take the WASSCE examinations, regardless of the type of student that you have, there are 4 subjects that are common to every student: math, English, integrated science, and social studies. So we would know that over the past 10 years, that is what WAEC used to assess performance at each of the cohorts. And fortunately for us, WASSCE is a norm reference.
Right.
It is not a bell curve or a Stay9 reference.
Right.
And so you can compare from one year to another year because of the examination being a norm reference examination.
Right.
So hold on, let me finish.
Dr. Within the time frame that we have,
I understand that, but let me at least
briefly,
I get you.
Yes.
But let me at least give you some data. Between 2015 and 2019, if you look at the core subject areas, the performance, even in mathematics, you've had 28% in mathematics. You've had 32% in integrated science. You've had 35% in English. But from 2020, when the first cohort of 3 SHS graduated, as well as since 2021, when those students have all been double-track students, we've not had any core subject below 50%.
But here's a situation where, in that case, those questions were bought. At least we heard from some parents and some of the students that the ministry then acquired questions.
And what is wrong with that?
To prepare the students. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it.
Yes,
but
there's nothing.
Extra preparations to ensure to get them, because parents complained, even if not where you sit, but where I sit. We had several parents complain of contact time.
Thank you for bringing that up. Let me wait.
No,
we are here to
Tando,
educate the public.
Dr.
We're not
Tando,
here to make assertions. You are talking about contact time. So let me help you.
My question.
Hold on, Mamiesi.
Please, you two hold on.
Let me help you.
I'll allow you to answer.
Sure, go ahead.
So let me ask the question, then you answer.
Sure.
Because of the time frame, so we don't, veer off. We have very little time. So there have been questions about contact hours. Also, the confusion with parents on when the children will go to school and come back. Some of them have had to hire extra help from teachers and all that to help them, because they felt that the advantage of the double track system was inadequate, And the current education minister is saying that there were challenges, even though nobody is questioning that the policy was terrible. You say that the policy helped absorb more students because you couldn't leave those students to sit home. So that problem was solved. But also there were other challenges that came with it. Do you disagree that the system didn't have any challenges at all?
I mean, see, nobody is going to say that any intervention in this world, from the United States to anywhere, is perfect. That's the first thing we need to understand. Every human intervention is going to have challenges. But on the issue of contact time, we need to discuss this academically. When we had the 3-term system, contact time for students was 1,080 hours per academic year. The evidence available is that because of the adjustments we made to length of time and contact time in double track in an academic year moved from 1,080 to 1,134, which means in a 3-year cycle, we added 162 hours to contact time. So the question,
1,080 and 1,000?
1,080, and we moved to 1,134.
Okay.
If you multiply the increase by 3, it is 162 hours per year, per 3-year cycle in terms of contact time. So the argument around contact time falls flat in the face of data analysis.
How are you calculating this contact time? Because if you have 4 months in the previous term and you have 2 tracks of first-year students, are they all having access to that 4 months, or they are splitting the 4 months between those 2 track systems?
I mean, see, this conversation is definitely not, you are pushing me for time, and it's not about this. Maybe you need to come to school.
But we need to understand.
So let me help you to understand. Let me help you to understand. In the 3-term system, students spend about 5 hours a day in front of teachers. In the double track system, with the work we did with teacher unions, NAT, NAGRAT, CCT, and everything else that we did, contact hours per day moves to 7 hours a day. So you need to understand the intricacies of what we did to prolong the amount of time students spent before teachers. You are an adult, and I don't know if you have ever taken sandwich programs or anything else, or people that are out there that have taken sandwich programs. Sandwich programs can be 3 weeks long or a month long, but the contact time does not decrease for someone who does a 4-month semester. It's a matter of contact time. So you need to understand the work that we did to improve contact time. And then on the issue of extra help, it is after the double track that we introduced the academic intervention programs. And those academic intervention programs ensure that when you and I went to school, it was the wealthy child's parent. Maybe my parent was wealthier than yours, I don't know. But my parent may have been able to afford extra lessons or studies, as we used to say, where the teacher will pull you after class and then do work for you. With the double track and the free SHS, government said every child must benefit from academic intervention or extra support. So government paid academic intervention to all teachers to allow for every child, the rich man's child and the poor kinky seller's child, to also have access to extra work. The rich man could buy past questions. Even people going to write Cambridge exams buy past questions. Whether they are any school or even in the universities, they buy past questions. The rich man children could buy past questions. What is wrong with government making those past questions available to all students so that they can better understand how the examinations are framed?
If they had more time, government wouldn't have.
But I just shown you that they even had more time
to buy those.
Let me also help you understand.
But just before we go on,
quickly,
we have 2 minutes.
We have 2 minutes, but I'll take 10 seconds. I don't mind.
Let me tell you, we'll take your 10 minutes.
Yes.
But then now, at least the current ministry is trying to review the process and find better ways of resolving those challenges that have come up. Is that not fair?
Nobody is saying that there shouldn't be a review. When the double track was introduced, the communication to Ghanaians were that it was going to take 5 to 7 years because there was infrastructure that needed to be built.
Right.
In any case, the current ministry or the current Minister of Education and the current government cannot reverse double track if the work had not been done for the infrastructure. So for them to say that they want to reverse double track is an indication that work has been done on the ground. Because how would you reverse it if work has not been done on the ground? It is evident that there was 1,132 infrastructure that needed to be built. By the end of President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo's term, 1,100 of the 1,132 had been built. So you could revert. So you need to look at the work that has gone in. I don't have an issue with Honorable Haruna Idrisu. He's a very good friend of mine. We talk often. I don't have an issue. What I have an issue with is technical people who probably are not feeding him with the right information for him to make such blanket, unfortunate statements. It is not, it's no knock on my very good friend.
So are you disputing the concerns of parents, the concerns of teachers?
I am not disputing.
About the policy that you introduced?
I am not disputing the concerns. Listen, even when people fly first class, they have concerns, right? So parents will have concerns, and they are very legitimate.
So what if the committee that has been set up to review this come up and say that, no, this double track system should be scrapped and, another proper or better, introduced?
There is no issue because the plan was to eliminate double track in 5 to 7 years. That 7 years is 2025. So a committee coming to say double track should be scrapped. They are only doing what President Akufo-Addo said we would do.
So what,
right?
I read somewhere that you're saying that it shouldn't be scrapped.
I didn't say it shouldn't be scrapped. I don't think you have read my article.
What were you saying then?
What I was saying is that there should be no claim that the double track negatively impacted academics. There should be no claim that the double track did not support access. But there should be no claim that infrastructure work was not done.
But that is what is being disputed about. There were some negatives to the double track, that there were issues with children not performing well. Parents had to get extra help for them. Aside that, there were issues about logistics and all that.
Mami, have you interrogated the data yourself?
Yes.
Have you interrogated the
some
data?
extent.
So
and
look,
I'm also on the side of those who have practical experience and stakeholders who are the parents, the teachers themselves, who are speaking about this. We even had headmistresses and head teachers of these schools, Wesley Girls Senior High School, St. Augustine's College, and the rest, Infantipim and the rest, you know, complaining about not even having resources during this double track period.
Mamiesi, have you interrogated the data?
I am talking to you. We talked about data. We also talking about the issues that are being raised.
Mamiesi, I just asked you.
Why are you not responding to those issues?
We are responding to those issues.
No,
Nobody has said
there were no issues.
I didn't say there were no issues. Mamiesi, come on. This is simple English conversation we're having. If you have interrogated the data, you will not sit there and say that performance was bad.
Dr. Tan.
What? So tell me about the data that you have interrogated.
We know that some children were sleeping on floors. We know that some
see
children
where you are taking
were
the conversation.
But this is part of the double track. That brought the accompanying challenges. It was on the airways everywhere.
Listen, Mamiesi, let me at least
but
communicate.
You have 2 minutes.
I have 2 minutes. Let me communicate to the Ghanaians.
Yes.
Now, no one said that any intervention is perfect. No one said that. But what I want to tell you is that had it not been for the free SHS and its attendant double track, 1,274,000 Ghanaian children wouldn't have had access to education. That is a clear fact. Had it not been for the double track and its attendant interventions and the things that happened, the evidence, if Mamiesi has interrogated them, would show that performance has increased. We are not saying that there were no problems.
Dr. Cameron, the problems are what I'm talking to you about. So we're talking about what happened during that period. And the education minister is telling you that these are some of the concerns we've come across. Mamiesi, that is what they are.
Let's go back to what the education.
Have that time.
Hold on, wait.
I would go.
Wait. But the truth of the matter is that my closing remarks is that the statement by the education minister said that performance had been impacted negatively, and on the evidence on the face of the data, on the evidence, it is clear that performance actually improved. Those are the things that we are interrogating. On the evidence or on the face of the data, it is clear that the infrastructure work was done. That is why a committee can work on ending the double track. On the evidence of the data, there is so much work that was done even in terms of digital intervention. On the evidence of the data, it is clear that contact hours improved. On the face of the data, it is clear that the right interventions were put in place. But it is also not it should not be disputed that the double track allowed some 1,274,000 children to gain access, whose child should have stayed home during that period. And it is absolutely not fair to those children who performed. Over that same period, Ghana has constantly topped WAEC awards, WAEC Excellence Awards, first place, second place, third place. The first year of free SHS students that we presented, out of the 465 in West Africa who got 8 A1s, 411, 83% were Ghanaian students from the free SHS. I think that we need to be able to tout what we are doing that is working.
All right.
And I will commend the minister to work on ensuring that they end that double track.
All right.
Because the infrastructure has been put in place.
Thank you so much for Dr. Tando, for being here on our desk. And this is still Joy News Desk. You're watching on the Joy News channel. We'll be right back with business.
Back to business here on Newsdesk. My name is Winston Taki, and now to our first business story. Government says it has begun steps to forge partnerships with key stakeholders to increase rice production in the country. Minister for Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku, says the move is aimed at reducing reliance on imported rice while boosting food security. Here is more from Pakistan Rice Show held in Accra.
Ghana currently spends millions of dollars annually on rice imports to meet domestic demand, but government says that trend must change. Food and Agriculture Minister Eric Opoku said partnership with international stakeholders like Pakistani rice producers will help bridge the gap.
Rice has become one of the most important staples in Ghana, with consumption rising sharply in recent years. While government is working diligently under the Feed Ghana program to increase local production through irrigation expansion, improve seed distribution, mechanization, and farmer support, we acknowledge that current demand still outpaces supply. As such, quality imports continue to play an important role in maintaining food security and meeting consumer preferences. Pakistan is a world leader in rice production and exports, renowned for its premium basmati and long-grain parboiled rice. This expertise offers Ghana not only access to high-quality imports, but also an opportunity to learn from Pakistan's experience in research, mechanization, and value chain development.
Pakistan Rice Roadshow held in Accra brought together producers, exporters, and policymakers to explore investment opportunities in the rice value chain.
That's all for business here on Newsdesk. My name is Winston Taki. Over to you, Mamiesi.
Thank you, Winston. And that's all from us here also on Join News Desk. And thanks for your company. We'll be back tomorrow.